Or is it Orlando?
It wasn't Dallas. We were in Dallas.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't Dallas.
It had to have been Orlando then.
Yeah. Let's say we're also.
Or maybe it was Anime Matsuri.
That's where.
Matsuri.
We're on
Katsutori.
stage now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're on stage, by the way.
Is that what the blue thing means?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He
I
says
have the-
sarcastically.
Oh, I need to load up the culture thing here.
Which one? The gay one?
Why? Culture never comes to this show.
Only when Carrie Smith is here.
Yeah. If there's somebody big enough, he will. Have you guys noticed that there's been, like in almost every stream, it's like none of the StreamYards isn't doing it very well, EVMux isn't doing it well. Everybody's saying that the volumes are drastically different between people, even though we're hearing like, sounds fine on our end.
It's Windows. It was a Windows update.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's been happening on Zoom calls and on Teams calls and on all
So
the
it's-
other stuff.
It's okay.
It's a Windows setting. I need to look up on how to turn it off.
Go to the.
Oh, while you're at it, you should look into disabling recall. So Microsoft can't spy on you.
Have they already started recall?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's.
I thought it was
nuzzling.
coming.
It's been on the system for a while.
The other thing is you go from here to stream, it's completely different. Fine on one show, horrible on the next.
Yeah, I'll get that.
They're all around me, government lies. They're spreading like flies, misinformation. They want us blind, but I won't be fooled. I'm not standing in line. It's on the screen and online. It's hard to believe what is the lie. The twist of the truth, try to deceive us, but I won't be brainwashed. My mind won't be sold. Gotta break the chains. I'm taking back control of my way. Misinformation. Try to deceive us, but I'll be fooled. I won't believe the lies. I'm searching for truth. Expose the false truth wrapped up in lies. Misinformation. 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 Don't buy the lies. Don't buy the lies. They're spreading like flies. Disinformation. They want us blind, but I won't be fooled. I'm not standing in line. Conspiracy theories.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, where we talk about things and stuff. And here's the rest of the group because why not? I hope everyone out there is doing well.
I realize that was probably the longest speech I've ever gone on any of our shows, and that's why it's the clip that's used for that intro. But that beard I had at that point looks absolutely freaking awful.
That's what we're all about, making you look off. It's the smoking check. You're just too good for us.
Well, and that was like a perfect sketch too that you did.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, we need more hilarious moments like that where it's very obvious that the commander in chief is a puppet.
This guy reads from a cod.
You just got to reach from a card. Yeah. So are the debates on at this point, by the way?
Yeah, 27th. And then September? Earliest I can ever remember the debates being. I mean, they've been scheduled. I think Trump said, I'll do whatever. He's going to be there. It'll be whether they can get Joe Biden cocained up enough to do it.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I
don't
think
forget
the one
drug test.
stipulation that he should have made, well, two then. Drug test Joe Biden, no earpiece.
No earpiece.
Yeah.
Yep. They were never going to do that.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, what he needs to go up there with then is something that causes interference with it. Right?
Oh.
So just go up there. Boom.
Oh, like something that causes feedback?
Put it just under the comb over.
Yeah.
They'll never
Just under
scan there.
Never look for that. But if something he turns on so the earpiece just blasts his ear and makes him deaf, that would be good.
Well, I think it'd be funny if there's just something like screeching in his ear and he just can't.
He just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like has to take it out or something like that.
Hold on. I got one of those things from Wrath of Khan. It's in my ear. It's driving me nuts, man.
Or hijack the signal and just tell him random shit. Never put it on a teleprompter.
You know Burgundy will read every word that's up there.
Yeah. No, I mean, the sad part is that's true because he's done it.
It's exactly.
Repeat the line.
Yeah,
Pause.
repeat the line. Pause. Repeat the line. Seriously, Kat, why do you keep doing this to me today? Wasn't in my lap whatsoever. We go live. Bam. Got to show up. Gotta be there. Real quick, Pinochet's helicopter tours for $5 says missed a couple of these. Pinochet's book of the week, Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, 1776. Also worth 2 hours. Please watch the Tucker Eric Prince interview. Info will sound familiar.
Mr. BlackRock or former? Is that BlackRock guy?
No.
No.
Fink. Larry Fink is the BlackRock guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fink, which is oddly enough appropriate. Yes, Ghost Rider, you're getting more Kitty Brown Eye.
Always.
There's a cat next to me too.
Yeah,
she's looking at the rabbits in the front.
You're not on camera though.
Huh? No,
you're not displaying Kitty Brown Eye.
No,
Lindsay said,
I respect our people.
Lindsay said it doesn't matter how much drugs they pump into him. Trump is going to destroy him. I mean, yes, but we've said that every time that he's given a speech and he's actually gotten through the speech. Like he got through the first debates, mostly because Trump screamed over him the whole time. He got through all the State of the Unions without too many major gaffes. I mean, there were gaffes, but they have been able to get him to perform for about 2 hours, and that's about the limit, I think. But I wouldn't get too complacent with debates and what they can make him do.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. I think complacency is what is going to guarantee loss at this point. I think that's what happened last time. Happened last 2 years ago, I'd say too.
Yeah, I just don't think Trump should debate him at all.
No, I didn't think so either. I don't think she's debating him with his numbers.
It's not helping him at all. All the debates only help the person behind. Like when John F. Kennedy and Nixon debated, the people who heard it on the radio, Nixon won going away. The people that saw it on TV, JFK won going away.
Because Nixon was sweating bullets.
Right. So, but Nixon was way ahead in the polls. Right. So you just needed to, at that point, Nixon said, no, we're not going to do it on TV. We'll do it on the radio.
Right.
And because they knew he was going to be bad on TV. He's not the good looking guy. JFK was the good looking guy. And you knew JFK was going to get the pep shots before he went out there. He's going to be in good spirits. So,
Yeah.
You got to play to your strengths. And Trump's strength is when he's not on camera or in front of anything or anywhere else right now. Just let things fall apart.
Yeah, I would say he's at a strength when he has a crowd, right?
Right.
When he's out and it's not, he's out and about, right? He's at a rally. He's strong there.
Well, I don't know. I think he did good at that scene in town hall where he basically kind of destroyed the moderator, and a lot of it. And this is part of the reason why they don't want to have an audience for the debate.
Exactly.
Is
Right.
because he can play up the audience.
He
and
feeds
he's
off of it.
really good on it. Yeah, really good at it, and he feeds off that energy from the audience. So they're majorly handicapping him by not having an audience.
Yeah, that's his biggest handicap. It's not
Yeah.
anything Joe's going to do. It's not having anything to feed
Right.
off of. Because if there's no applause, no laughter, no clap lines, nothing,
Mhm.
and all you've got is moderators that are against you and everybody else,
Yeah,
it's
he's
not
not
going
going
to
to win
come off
these.
looking great.
No.
None of these debates are going to help him. All they're going to do is hurt him. And that's where his hubris gets in the way.
And that's why Biden suddenly switched positions and said, "Oh, I'm screwed. I better ask for the debates
Right.
now."
So Trump would be better off just publishing, okay, look, I'll do it. Just publicly say it. I'll do it if you have a drug test before, you don't have any earpiece in, that there is a crowd, 50% yours, 50% mine, handpicked by us, and just list that stuff. Anything, and you just list it. It's normal, right? It's not unreasonable. And you just put it out there, and you put that out there every day on social media until it gets to the point nobody gives a shit about the debates.
Yep.
Yeah. You know where you do
that's what
that
you gotta
debate then? In the Senate.
Yeah,
It's 50-50.
right.
Do it
Well,
like
actually,
like
with
an
the
address
Senate-
to the country.
With the Senate, it's
It's probably more
probably
like
75
70-30.
25, right?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about the rhinos and stuff. I'm talking about handpicked Trump supporters and Biden supporters.
Yeah, I was just kidding. I don't think anybody should ever be campaigning from the Senate floor either way, even if it is a debate.
But Trump just puts that out there because now they're quoting off his True Social and putting it on other social media accounts as images of what he says. Oh, look, he's saying this here, he's saying that there, and there are plenty of accounts that are just going to put that out there. You just have him do it, and he just has to make one post and just keep reposting it. He can go on X right now and set up that post with the same picture of Joe looking like he's taking a shit at the podium. And he could set that up to run every hour or every 2 hours for the next 50 days. Just let it go. Yep, I do it, but this. I do it, but this. I do it, but this. And then what's going to happen? Because the only reason people are listening to Karine Jean-Pierre now is for the humor.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
White House staff has said she's got to go. And she came back and turned leftist politics against them and said, "I'm a black lesbian. What are you going to do?"
Exactly.
Yep.
And they said, "Oh, never mind. We're not allowed to do that."
Right? She has to step down, but she's not going to.
No.
Right. Why would she?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, she doesn't help the Biden admin, so I don't have a problem with her being there. It just makes them look foolish, right?
It's
I mean,
funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's entertaining at the current administration's expense. I'm perfectly fine with her staying. It would be. I think the worst thing for us is them putting somebody competent in that position, which he's not, and that's all there is to it.
It's actually amazing that somebody is making Jen Psaki look somewhat competent. Circle Back Girl is now the most competent press secretary from this administration.
Yeah, versus we're not going to comment, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It is. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Laugh.
Well, I mean, it goes back to what we're talking about with like, don't interrupt your enemies when they're making mistakes. It's like, why are you doing this now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Trump just needs to back off.
Yeah.
And just let it happen because people are making the case for him.
Well, the lawsuits are making the case for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those things are getting
Every
really
time
bad.
anything happens in court, he gets another bump. It's a shame some more of these aren't going to happen before the election.
Well, and a lot of it too is that it really is kind of exposing just the fact that they're pulling at the stops of trying to take the man down, and there's just nothing there. I mean, the Stormy Daniels thing is a fucking joke at this
imploding.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Even James
yep.
Carville came out and said if their whole case is on Cohen's testimony, they're screwed.
And
Yeah.
Cohen just came out and said, yeah, I stole $30,000 from Trump. And Trump didn't even know about it because they didn't disclose that information to the defense,
Right.
which they're
So
required to do.
Now it's okay to hold information from the defense. And we have gone past what the original colonists railed against and rebelled against in the 1770s. We are now past what the king and parliament were doing to the colonists. All right.
Oh, yeah.
We have kangaroo courts. They are throwing people in prison without habeas, without
Due process.
due process,
Yeah.
right? And they're doing all this stuff because the Patriot Act. All that shit started with the Patriot Act. And then suddenly you've got FISA court and all that stuff. And I want to know
Well, I mean,
what
it
they
contributed.
told
They're-
Johnson.
They were doing stuff before that, though.
Yeah, but I want to know what they told Johnson to keep him voting for that 702 thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wanna know what they
Kevin
told
Mitnick is a perfectly good example of the fact that the government was doing this shit before the Patriot
Mm-hmm.
Act. I wouldn't say it was as broad as it is probably now. I think the
There
Patriot
was
Act probably
always
just gave them
bias in the system,
yeah,
right? But there was not, it wasn't made legal.
it wasn't gross violations like we're seeing
Right.
now.
Because the IRS can do whatever they want to you, and they don't have to do any of that stuff. That was the one agency. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson. That could take everything from you, throw you in prison forever, and not ever say anything or do anything about it. The IRS can do that. They can take everything from you and put you in prison
Mm-hmm.
and never bring charges.
Well, so can the DOJ if you were there on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is this? What was it? The same guy that was in charge of Jan 6 is now in charge of the Mar-a-Lago raid. Same FBI guy.
I think so.
And the same guy that was in Michigan.
Well, there's okay. Just remind me of something. You mentioned the Mar-a-Lago raid. Did you hear that basically the FBI had shoot to kill orders?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know who?
They had permission to use deadly force.
Deadly force.
Different than
Yeah.
shoot to kill.
I'm not. Yeah, sorry. Let me rephrase that. But
Which most of those warrants are going to have that on there, but probably not when you're going to have secret. You're going to have blue on
Not
blue
with Secret Service.
happening.
yeah,
That would be Secret Service going against the FBI.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Bongino
that
did
order
that
would
one.
be there.
Well,
if
it was
Secret Service is going to be there.
Merrick
Right.
Garland that approved it, though.
Right.
Well, and Biden.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Bongino and several others came out and said that, no, that's not standard. Not in these things.
Not in these things is but
Right.
it is
It's-
standard on a normal warrant.
On a normal warrant, but not for this.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, Garland still hacked off that he's not a Supreme Court justice. And he's going after everybody that he can. So, yeah, the
Well, and
hope
he thinks
is
this will
that
be a good legacy for him.
somehow Trump is able to win against all of the cheating that's going to happen. And he gets in and cleans things off. Somehow. He gets in there and he does that. I don't have a lot of faith in that. But
Well, he's doing a rally tomorrow, or is it tomorrow? No, Friday in South Bronx.
Oh yeah.
he was doing rallies like crazy in 2020.
Yeah, but this
It-
is South. He didn't go to South Bronx, though. I mean, this is bigger.
It's
It's
still
still-
who's counting the votes, right?
I mean, yeah.
How
yeah.
many illegals are coming across the border every month? 300,000. All right. How many of those are getting social security numbers, getting IDs, getting voter reg? All right, all that stuff so they can get social programs, to get their WIC, and to get their, as we used to say back in the day in Indian land, government cheese,
Mm.
and free rent and all that stuff. Right? Sometimes
Well, I mean,
you just
to
got to
answer
step
your
back and
question,
say,
Talks.
"Mm."
I don't know. You know, that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people know. Maybe the government knows. They're the ones that's doing it.
Well, and I don't think these are the most educated people, for the most part, coming over. There are some that are infiltrating, and the others I don't think are highly educated or likely
No,
to
you
try
just
to go
need
vote.
key people and everyone else being dumb. So, Randall, what do you think would happen if they exterminate Trump?
Well,
Bill,
I know
what do you
we
think?
If
we
it's,
kind of talked about this last week.
Mhm.
I
it's
think
probably more for the green side only.
I personally think that if they were to do that, you're probably looking at. I would like I say I'd like to think it's one of those things that this country could erupt in civil war. I mean, pretty much at that point, if they were to do that, I mean, we know American democracy is dead. The republic is dead. Yeah.
But
Right.
does it take something more than that to rile up the right? And we've seen that it takes nothing to rile up the left into violence. But what does it take to actually get the right riled up into violence? I think it takes a lot more. I think everybody will gnash their teeth and rip out their hair and cry and be upset.
And then nothing
And
will
I
happen.
don't think nothing will happen from the right. I think if a civil war happens, it would have to start from violence from the left, which if Trump actually got elected from
It
that
might.
November date to January, I think you're going to see hell on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they want to blame him or stuff, but they're letting stuff about the vaccine come out. I think I know we talked about this in on the whole, but I think that's part of it. I think they want some of that stuff leaked out to blame Trump because he's got that new manager now. His campaign manager is a rhino, and how she got in her position, I don't know. But they've already got their foot in the door with him now because before he wasn't saying anything, and people were trying to convince him to blame the vaccine company or the companies for it for all the stuff, and I think that they're using that to set him up.
Well,
Well, and that's
Talks
where
mentioned this years ago that they think, or you thought, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'll let you answer basically finish the statement, but they were setting up to blame Trump for the whole vaccine thing.
Yeah, I think if he'd have won a second term, you would have seen all this stuff about what the vaccine side effects and all this stuff and everything from there. You would have seen it right after the election. And they would have gone after him for the things that they should be going after Fauci and others. And they would have done that.
Instead, what you've got is Trump is used to being a businessman and the buck stops with him. And he's not throwing the vaccine companies over under the bus.
Under the bus.
Because what he's doing is saying, yeah, well, I told them to go do it. We gave them the money. They went and did it. What the Biden administration on many things is doing is saying, well, yeah, I put Mayorkas in charge of the Border Patrol. It's not my fault that Mayorkas isn't doing it. I mean, that's what a politician does versus a businessman. And that's part of the reason I think, even though Trump is not the most conservative guy, not even 70% conservative, I think that's where the conservatives actually like Trump, is because of his businessman demeanor in a way of running the country versus snaky politician.
Right. Well, during that whole thing that was going on, I was just, you can ask Mrs. Flew, screaming at the television for him to shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Because he was doing himself and the country a disservice by being out front. And that is his biggest problem, is hubris. Right?
Yeah, the cult of
and I
personality.
don't think he's
Ego.
ever going to overcome that.
No.
My
I don't
hope
think so.
is that instead of listening to the daughter, he listens to the sons if he gets in another term.
Yes.
Because his daughter screwed him over in many ways with Jared, like crazy. And they made out like bandits as opposed to everybody else in the family when that stuff came, when all of the business stuff and everything came out.
Well, and that was also where the bureaucracy was also screwing him, because he thought he had information coming that was true and giving him the information. But Burke said that she flat out lied to him and denied him information about COVID and the vaccines all the way through it.
Yep.
And the ICC community, the is that
International Criminal Court.
Yeah, they were blocking Navarro's memos to Trump. Trump never saw them, and other information that was critical. They blocked all that, according to Jeff Carlton and on his blog.
And who's in jail? Navarro.
Yeah, because him and Fauci went at it. Yeah, he's definitely
Yes.
a little devil.
And
Oh my
you want
God.
to talk about a true American, true humanitarian who tried to fight all this crap? Peter Navarro. And Trump gets in office, he needs to pardon him. And he needs to pardon Snowden and a few others. His way out the door, the people he didn't pardon, I'm sorry, fuck you, Donald Trump. Seriously, fuck you, you asshole. There were so many people you should have pardoned. General Flynn, pardon. You should have pardoned these people. What the fuck is
Julian
wrong with you?
Assange.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, it's another big
What
one.
the fuck is wrong with you? And
I don't get that.
yeah, and his Supreme Court picks outside of Gorsuch's, fucking awful.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Awful. He
That
could
was
have gotten all the stuff that he had and all this things, and had constitutionalist first judges that were written all this shit to just get it done.
And that's
I'm
where
sorry. I'm saying those things, and the door's open, and Mrs. Flu's over on Floral's channel, and it's bleeding over. So I'm very sorry.
And that's where I think we have to be still somewhat worried about this election, because Hillary, they weren't real worried that Donald Trump was going to win, right? But the rallying cry around Donald Trump was the Supreme Court justice picks. We knew there was already one. There could be two. We got three. Well, at this point, there's enough people on there that could be dead in the next 4 years or retired in the next 4 years that the Democrats could rally around the same thing to try to take back the Supreme Court. So they do have a rallying point that isn't just Biden. And they didn't recognize it in us. We damn sure better recognize it in them. And also, Tox, did you see that new Flynn documentary came out? General Flynn?
I did. I have not seen it yet.
I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but I've heard it's really good.
He's another American. He's another true American, true patriot.
Well, you know
what he went through.
Yeah, real quick, guys, and get Robo Rants.
Sure.
So Pinochet says, funny thing, during the 1960s was similar to now. U.S. was meddling around the world, participating regime change. Nixon knew where the bodies were buried in CIA ops like the Bay of Pigs. JFK called out our meddling. Yeah. Well, the funny thing, too, is like there's a lot of things we have in common right now with the 60s, I think, from, the politics of the time period to racial division, you name it. It's, basically a thing right now. So, unfortunately, Pinochet's helicopter tours. Bell was close. Eric Prince started Blackwater, which became Triple Canopy. He explains it all. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Blackwater Security Company, though.
Right? Oh, Blackwater. Okay, I was thinking BlackRock. Not, yeah, my bad.
See, I was thinking
that's Larry Fink. Yeah.
Yeah. See, yeah, I was thinking this. Well, I did say BlackRock, but I knew it was Black. But Blackwater's like isn't that a secretive security company?
It's private security, I believe.
Okay.
Or
they made a ton of money doing security and mercenary stuff overseas.
Yeah. Yep. Pinochet's helicopter tours. Stephen D'Antonio was in charge of Whitmer's plot after MI arrest moved to D.C. Field office. The J6 happened. He went on 2 special counsels and led January 6th prosecution. He is the architect of our Reichstag fire.
Yep. That's the guy I was thinking of. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Zed says that Flynn was pardoned.
Yeah, I was thinking Bannon, not Flynn. So they corrected me in chat.
Okay, got it. I honestly was not aware that he even got pardoned to begin with. Josh says, I don't think or hope Trump learning from his mistakes and really gets to work fixing things up if he becomes president again.
That's the hope. Right. That's the hope.
Yeah, that's the hope.
I still think
and I think
Hakeem Jeffries.
I think he throws out a whole bunch of executive orders to reverse things. And then I think it'll be 2 years before he's able to actually get anything done. Unless we deliver Senate and Congress, Senate and the House with it.
Yep.
That's the only way anything gets done.
They'll be looking for impeachment from day one, or even before.
Yeah.
Like they did before.
Yeah.
if they certify and if he's able to take office and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's I don't think they're as worried if he gets elected because they're going to play the massive obstructionist game, I think. So I honestly, at this point, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion. I'm not going to get super black pilled about Hakeem Jeffries being president or whatnot. I think they have a plan if he wins.
I think the plan is just to let leftists do what leftists do and burn down half the country.
I think that's part of it. I think what they'll do is just obscure him in every avenue at this point. I don't
obstruct them, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry. Did I say abstract? Obstruct.
No, you said obscure.
Obscure. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Obscure what they're doing and obstruct what he's doing.
It depends because this Senate map is pretty favorable.
Yeah, but I mean, McConnell had the opportunity to take the Senate in 2020, and he didn't. He paid back political friends, and he should have let McConkey, or whatever her name is in Alaska, lose to former vice presidential candidate Palin, right? He should just let her lose, but he couldn't because she has favors and knows where things are buried.
Mm.
Right, but that was 2022. That wasn't. I get what you're saying, and I completely agree. But a presidential election, the national election, typically runs a little bit different than the midterm elections because there's coattails that happen too. So if you believe that Trump is going to get in, the same way that it was ridiculous in 2020 that Biden had no coattails and Trump had everybody go in except for him.
He wants me to toss meat at you.
Oh, you got to throw meat at me? Oh, gosh.
You pissed off the pastor.
I did.
The pastor puppet.
I did.
So just as it's ridiculous that
she
I just want to say love you and we can hear you through the door.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna have to soundproof my office now.
Yeah. So just as it was ridiculous that all the down the ballot votes went for Republicans, yet Trump lost, it would be ridiculous if Trump wins and we don't take any seats this time.
I could see it happening.
I can too, but I mean that's where we know that they're screwing with things because people don't vote that way.
But again, they've come out and said that there were 250,000 more people that voted in Michigan than were actually eligible to be on the rolls.
Right.
In the last election.
And the thing with those was
nobody did anything.
They only voted for the president.
Right. And nobody did anything. Nothing's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Except
that should be an uproar. But it's not. Because they've taken the generations that we have now, because of in school, they've dumbed them down, and they're filling in the fact that we have less kids being born and we have less population. They're filling that in with the dregs of the world. These are not people wanting to come here. These are people being directed here by the UN and other stuff. So, I thought that Trump was going to win in 2020. I did not think that they were going to be able to go that far. And then they did. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to be fooled in this election. They will do one of three things. Cheat and Biden will win. Not certify and Hakeem Jeffries will become president of the United States. All right, because the rhinos will leave and they'll end up with the Democrats in charge of the House and the Senate. Or Trump will win and they will immediately go to impeachments and all that stuff because they're not going to win the House. They'll rig the House and the Senate seats because they won't be watching those. People will be watching the presidential stuff. So those are one of the three things that's going to happen. Trump gets in the office, nothing. It's going to be awful. Summer of love times 4.
Yeah,
and you just have to be ready for that.
Hell on earth.
Yeah, like I said, I one way or another, my personal thoughts on this election. I don't think it matters who gets in. I think you're going to see bloodshed regardless. Now, also, what's up,
Exactly.
guys? Gar, how you doing, man?
All the cool people are over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how you don't have one side. Well, I do, because again, what does it take to get the right to get riled up? We haven't in the past, except for way back at the beginning of the country, maybe. But I mean, we're not the kind that tends to get riled up and start the violence. We don't even protest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's its own
We're not
problem.
organized to do all that. We don't have a Soros paying
Well,
for everybody
okay,
to show up in
and-
a city and burn it down.
You know why I would say that most people that are moderate to conservative don't protest? Because they
Because
have
we
jobs.
have jobs.
Because you have jobs.
Yeah. You have something to lose. Kids out of college and in college and all that stuff, and kids that don't have jobs that aren't in college don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to go out and be, community
Mhm.
organizers, that kind of stuff.
Well, and leftists don't
know.
go get thrown in jail. The one
I
time the
drove
right
by.
slightly got riled up, January 6th,
Yeah.
they're all in jail for years.
Yeah.
Before
Well,
summer left here,
leftists
I
get-
drove by the
Leftists get
forklift.
arrested, but they don't get thrown in jail. They don't get
Right. They don't get
books thrown
prosecuted.
out.
They don't get
Yeah.
prison terms without charges. They just
No.
get turned right back on the street.
Just like that Patriot Front stuff. I know that they are feds because they're not pulling down the gators
Mask.
and taking
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the first thing they do.
And because nobody on the right knows where they're actually going to be congregating or doing their
Right.
stupid
None of us
little
know what's
things.
going on.
It's,
Well, and that's the main point that you made, and this is the most important thing that people overlook, because you see the Krasensteins going, these aren't feds. It's like, yeah, they are. It's like the whenever they're being arrested, they all have their mask on, and whenever you see Antifa get arrested, they've always pulled the mask off.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
they-
come
they-
on, it's like, don't give me that shit.
like the
Well, they
scene in
had-
Watchmen with Rorschach. You don't get to keep the mask.
Yeah.
No, they did in Oregon. Now, when they were arrested in Idaho and Oregon, there is mugshots of them. But it's
A Patriot Front.
yes,
Okay.
they've
Yeah,
been
but
around.
those were the non-feds.
well,
And
they
they
went to
all
West-
look like Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they picked West Virginia for nothing. I think they thought there was going to be a bunch of rednecks that were going to rise up there and
And
join
they
them,
didn't.
and they didn't.
That's
they know they're
because
feds.
us rednecks have been running moonshine for so long, we can smell the feds before they even show up, baby.
You know exactly what a sting looks like.
Exactly. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
You're
They're
just the
very-
revenuer, man. I know you.
Yeah, very
Well-
mistrusting of the government forever.
Well,
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
we've been saying long enough that they don't ever take off their masks when they arrest them. That's how we know they're feds.
Mhm.
I mean, it's been 3 years, almost 4 years of us saying that. Sooner or later, they're going to burn a few of their own to say,
Mhm.
no, we
Well,
took off
no,
the
they won't burn
masks."
their own. They'll get some dupes,
Yeah,
and they'll
But, I
burn
mean-
them.
But
But
I
and
don't-
they're
I-
still involved in the program. Even if they're dupes, they're still, we'll
Mhm.
sacrifice a
they're-
few.
But they're not feds
Just
though.
the-
At that point, they'll find some people like they did in was it Iowa or Arkansas or wherever they had that meeting where they had, mugshots. They'll find some locals that they'll swindle into it, and
But it'll
do it that way.
supposedly get rid of that talking point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like Michigan, where there were 7 people planning it, but 12 were FBI or whatever it was. 12, 5 and 7 was in Michigan, and it was more feds planning
Yeah,
it than
the
there
feds
was
were
act-
planning the
Mhm.
kidnapping of Whitmer, not the actual
Yeah,
people that
and
they
I
were
think
leading.
I think that's what Patriot Front is. The guys that started it are legit, you know,
Me too, buddy. Me too.
rednecks or whatever, or extreme. But I think they, like I said, I think they've been infiltrated with other people in it because they're not taking their stuff off. But it started out, from somebody.
Well, they
whatever
got to
got.
justify all these feds. I mean, they're on a 10% increase budget every year, so they have to spend that money. If they don't spend the money, they lose the budget.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
That's,
You're going to make stuff up.
that's one of the biggest problems that is not just in the government; it's also within corporate America. It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Before
By the
you
way,
get to that,
I want to get back to
Oh.
this. The only reason why I don't disagree with Tox is because if he's right, I'll never hear the end of it.
what about Hakeem Jeffries?
No, just about your predictions altogether.
About your predictions in general.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because
I point out
it's
before
like
the
willing
show.
it to existence at this point.
Yeah,
You mean-
before the show, I point out every time I was right in this show to everyone before, and that's why they stopped showing up early.
It takes about half a second.
Oh, that's nice. Hold on. There it is.
Hey, Tox, I heard a nasty rumor that you have some headlines tonight.
I do. But before we do that, I'm going to play our official sponsor, and you can read his latest super chat. So here we go. Tonight's episode of Yelling at Parked Cars is brought to you by Pinochet's Helicopter Tours. Have a socialist problem? Take them skydiving. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours make our tour your last tour.
All right. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours for $5 says, built my PC summer of 2019. Like at Indy, I chose Legacy over EFI BIOS. I don't think it's a mistake, in my opinion. And Microsoft won't let me upgrade to Windows 11. I think you did yourself a favor by
Do yourself a
accident.
favor, buddy.
They called me out for buying a cheap key off of Pingu 2. I got a message today, 2025 10 ends. Oh, really? So they're ending their EOLing support in 2005, or excuse me, 2025 for 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh no!
That makes sense because they're wanting to force people to upgrade to 11.
Ugh.
The only thing that bothers me about 11 is the shit that's going on with this recall stuff. And allegedly you can turn it off. I don't know.
Yeah, but not forever.
Yeah.
They'll eventually make it to where you can't.
Yeah. That is really disturbing. And this is something we talked about, I think it was on Monday. My main concern with all this stuff is that, let's say you're writing an email or writing a friend and you're using words that Microsoft doesn't like. And they're like, you're violating our terms of service. If you do it again, we're going to suspend your license and you can't use your computer anymore. That's the thing I find concerning, and they will
They want
do.
to go subscription service.
Yeah, that too.
So they can do that. It's a,
Yeah.
So they're going to be able to turn your car off anytime you want. Now you got the cars, and there was a thing, Ford did an update, and it shut down a lot of their cars. You got to have them towed to have it redone.
Who did
And
this?
I'm like, Ford. Ford had an update they shoved to some of their electric cars and their other computerized cars that screwed up the computer and shut them down. So it comes up and says, you can't use your car because of the software update. Call the tow company and have them take it to the closest dealer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great when
Exactly.
your car can get bricked.
Mm-hmm.
That is
So-
crazy.
But also
This Flu
think about
shows
this.
me a 2002 Jeep that was in one of the local ad stuff there. And then they wanted like $6,000 to $8,000 for it. It had 2,000 miles on it, but a 2002 doesn't have any of that stuff except for some of those basic computers.
Yep.
And you can rip that out and put in a different drive belt up front to put timing on it. So then you don't need the computer for a lot of that stuff. But anyway, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
I
I
have
was
a
just
20
going to say, don't forget about the smart meters for your utilities and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They can
Uh-huh.
shut down your power at your home too. They can
I've
turn
been-
off
I've-
your AC.
mentioned
They
that.
can turn off everything. Yeah.
Yeah, those smart thermostats, those are frightening, where they basically you give permission to the power company to turn your
Yeah,
Your AC
especially
off.
living where you do.
Yeah.
Where that's
I never fucking do that shit. Real quick, we have one more from Pinochet. Says everything the government is doing is baiting a reaction, just like the Nazis tried to bait the right in 1930s. Like it or not, we cannot act until the feds overplay their hand and choose violence. Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree.
Well, and that's the thing with the feds, though. I mean, listening to Bongino, who I think knows a hell of a lot more than me, the total number of officers for the FBI, like actual agents, is less than the number of police in New York City.
Mhm.
That's what makes me think that, like, Patriot Front and stuff like that is either, a black op type setup, or it's the CIA operating on U.S. territory.
Mhm.
Because the FBI just does not have that many agents. At least they don't admit to having that many agents.
Yeah, I think that's the big deal. They don't
And
admit.
Bongino would know a hell of a lot more than all of us,
Yep.
typically.
Mhm.
And he's somebody I trust. He's somebody I listen to and trust.
All right.
enough.
So I did some headlines for tonight, kind of changed some things up. So here we go.
Hercules, I'll show you some Herculean meat.
Ow! 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 Penis. Entertainment that always rises to the occasion.
He digs deep between the cracks, whether it's a cushion or an ass. It's Pixel News headlines with Toxic Man Flu.
All right. So I saw this come up my feed. Some guy named Stone Cold Ayatollah. This was from last week, I think. On my way to visit the Supreme Leader with evidence that she-devil Hillary sold uranium to our friend Vladimir. We will finally show the world the evils committed by America. Death to the infidels. Don't cross Hillary, man. She, yeah, it don't matter.
Then he got Kobe'd.
And he got COVID.
Yeah.
That was a sad, sad end for a helicopter. Sad, sad end.
Excellent piece of
What are you
machinery.
guys' thoughts on that? I mean, I guess we could talk about it after headlines. What's this?
No, you did. What am I got thoughts on that? Yeah, okay. I'm glad he's dead.
No, I'm talking about on who did it.
Oh, really? I don't know.
I think Weather
probably
did it.
Weather. Pixel News for May 2024. Paul Pelosi granted conjugal visits, but denied ability to bring hammers or ball gags. Oh, man, that's too bad. In what came as a mixed bag to the Pelosi family, Paul was granted conjugal visits with attacker and former quote-unquote friend David DePape Wednesday. After hours spent pounding out details, the warden and Pelosi were able to hammer out a deal that let the Congresswoman's husband visit DePape 3 times a week. So congratulations. Sorry about the hammers and the ball gags. That kind of sucks. God, the guy was getting hammered. Yep. Just there. This is from Prez Shits Pants. I have shit my pants 350 times in the past 300 days. Name one president that can claim that. Bidenomics strikes again. Hamana, 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 smell my leg hairs because Trump is better. Hey, give me back my phone, Jill. So I saw that. I was like, hey, that's pretty normal.
Oh my god.
He's only 15 times for getting at least one crap a day in his pants.
At least. So there's 50 there. Who knows?
350 on 300 days is a good pace.
That's
he
good pace.
will get more than one a day.
Mm-hmm. He's having more kids. I'm not going to say it.
We're still on YouTube, so probably.
How many grandkids
not
does he
to-
have again? Right, whatever.
7 or 8.
Take whatever number you know and -1.
-1, right. Same thing for Luke Starbucker. Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right. Entertainment headlines. A new poll, all openly gay Doctor Who actors are stupid. In another no-brainer poll from Pixel News, fans voted the latest actor to portray Doctor Who, Nakwati Gadawa, I don't know his name, is a
Ncuti
dumb
Gatwa.
shit. Ncuti Gadawa. Shooty
Gatwa.
Shooty in my ass. Okay. Is a dumb shit. This was not a surprise to anyone paying attention, but the shock was who came in second. Results 69% Ncuti Gatwa, 21% probable, actually. I got 10% and Ian K 0%. And that's because only the name is gay. So
The flamboyant smoking jacket, isn't it?
it's the smoking jacket. That's what it is. See,
Yeah.
it looks just like this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like something a doctor would wear.
Right. You could Dr. Bull. You could do that.
Dr. Bull who?
The jokes practically write themselves at that point.
Ian K posted this one. I'm ready to show the world who I really am. # you go girl. I don't know.
Was there a link in the comments that just showed him crying because his period hurt so much?
Exactly.
Oh.
right.
Oh.
This was right after he bought an entire case of tomato paste from Sam's Club.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gross.
Wow.
Comics
and
is
then-
taking period leave. That's a throwback to earlier today.
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was good. And finally, from Culture Casino's account, finally, I'm ready to show the world who I really am. Hashtag you go Wookie. So, there you go. That's it for the headlines tonight.
Nice. That was a good set of headlines.
Yeah, that was a good set of headlines.
He digs deep between the cracks, whether it's a cushion or an ass.
Yeah, it's playing the
Pixel
outro.
News headlines.
Oh,
with
okay.
toxic
I don't know if
man
it's
flu.
done.
I just see toxic.
What's playing the outro?
It's done now. There you
Yeah,
go.
it's funny. We got like 5 seconds of it, or actually 2 seconds of it, and then flip back over to us.
Yeah, done.
That may be the place where we all need studio mode so that we can see the studio mode side getting
Well,
ready.
I mean, we don't see it
He
either.
has it. He didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drives me nuts because we all sound like freaking idiots too, and we're like, "Is something playing? Is it playing?"
Huh?
And one
What's
person
going on,
knows
guys?
that it is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you shouldn't say that and just let me produce the show.
That's what I've said.
I'm just saying.
But then I'm watching the feed, and it takes 30 seconds for it to show up over there, and it's like, "All right, are we dead silent or not?"
Yeah.
I'll just give you all a sign. I'll just
Yeah.
come on screen and flip
Stick-
everybody on.
Is
Stick
it-
out
is
your
it the
animated
middle finger?
tongue.
Yeah.
Stick out
I
your
could
tongue
do
if the video is playing. Exactly.
that.
we know we're good if the tongue is out.
Yeah, I'm about to.
And then I
puke.
just
No.
picture him sitting at his desk going.
Does it actually read your tongue?
Apparently,
it can.
he
So
was
if I turn it
able
on
to.
like this, it'll follow my head. Blah, 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 blah. There you go.
Yeah.
So it does that kind of stuff.
Well, that's taking all the mystery out of it, isn't it?
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what you. Fuck you guys. It
Is
doesn't
that
allow
your-
me to do this. stuff.
Don't shake your finger at me.
Is
Hi
that
there.
your hand?
Yes.
I didn't know
Yes.
you had hands. Oh my
Comes
God.
directly
I
out
have,
of his ass.
4 fingers.
Pino Chase helicopter tours for $5. Everyone forgot that Elias
Podestas.
Podesta. Okay, thank you. I was like, what, how do you say the fucking name? Newsom, Obama, and Kerry warmongered the West seceding warmongered the West seceding, causing havoc for Trump and potential civil war. Lefties cry he will come for his enemies, which we cheer. LOL. Yeah, sorry, I butchered the show on that. Pinochet's helicopter tours. Sorry, I wasn't around this week. Important business. Oh, good, dude. Thank you. Appreciate the explanation, but it's not warranted, my friend.
It's part of the rest.
It's part of
the
life.
Super chat.
What's that?
It's part of the rest of the super chat.
Okay. Sorry I wasn't around this week. Important business. I somehow ended up with a different helicopter after a mix-up in Iran. Apparently,
Oops.
whoever took mine
Sorry about
broke
that.
it, apparently. So I'm keeping this one. Oh, that's funny, dude.
You
Sorry.
damn near destroyed his joke
I
by
did.
being like,
Oh,
"No problem, no problem. Just keep sending the Rumble brands, please. We don't care
I'm
if you
okay.
missed a show."
Ah,
Simple comics, rare as hell.
Yeah, he had an
I'm just-
RIP for
I'm
his
just teasing you.
helicopter.
mhm.
I
Was that
read
a-
ahead. I knew what was coming.
And Eclay, I don't want to see what happens if you pull your pants down. Well, I got news for you.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
That's what all women say when I do that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. How do you pee with something so small?
I've never seen one uncut.
Oh.
No. let's
Good
get
thing I've got my readers on.
let's get the title article out of the way real quick.
Oh, we had topics.
Yeah, we actually have topics.
Suddenly, I can't breathe.
I did
I'm
post
having
them.
trouble breathing.
Yeah, George Floyd's getting a biopic called "Daddy
Yay.
Changed the World."
Daddy changed the world.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, an 8-year-old executive producer.
yeah. I mean, how old's his daughter?
Daddy took all the
Really?
world's phenol.
Yes,
Oh my
it's
God.
it's the mother and the daughter that are
Yeah,
executive.
I saw that. Well, the funny thing is, it's like just watch the documentary on the fall of Minneapolis. It'll be a lot more
Mhm.
accurate.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I do want to say there's 139 people watching us on Rumble. Thank you all very much. And over on the Yelling at Parked Cars channel, we have 21 people watching.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Good for
Isn't
This
that-
fits
Man
right in-
Hammer's there. Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
This fits right into Pelosi saying, George Floyd, thank you for your sacrifice.
Oh, God. That was so awful.
Oh, yeah. Those
Yeah,
guys are
I mean-
still in jail after that documentary.
Yep.
I know.
And this is only a few days after the anniversary of Michael Brown.
Oh,
Hands up, don't
yeah.
shoot. Yeah, right.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! All those.
Darius is correct. Stop making assholes.
Heroes, yeah. Well, it goes back to
What? Dad, come on.
you criminalize, you turn citizens into criminals and criminals into citizens. Essentially, is what I think
Mhm.
they're how
That's
that
what they're
goes
doing.
Criminals into heroes.
into heroes. Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But I mean, if you actually go to Rumble and watch the fall of Minneapolis, there's several things you're going to see. A lot of it has to do with body cam footage, and that is the most important thing because, like, the narrative is that he was on the ground saying "I can't breathe," which is true, but he was saying that shit before he was even put on the ground. The camera, the body cam footage tells it all. This is not the first time an incident like that happened. Fortunately, the first time he survived, and he did have fentanyl. He did swallow it, and they called the EMS, and the man was saved. And the other thing that happened was the EMS got sent to the wrong location. That's one thing. But there's one factoid that they leave out in his arresting officer, who was not Chauvin, by the way, was a biracial man, and he's in prison. They interview him about what happened, and all these guys followed everything by the book.
Yep.
And this is a perfect good example of a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth even has an opportunity to put its shoes on. As a matter of fact, I think it took 3 years for the truth to put its shoes on and finally, show up.
Work its way out. Yeah, 'cause
Well,
they-
and
that
not
was-
only was the biracial officer that actually was in charge of the arrest, he was biracial. He's in prison, but he's also the one that the judge was like, well, you need to apologize or we're throwing the book at you. And he was like, I've got nothing to apologize for. We followed the book. So they threw the book at him.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a miscarriage of justice every single step of the way for the cops, not for Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
George Floyd 4 years sober.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
awful.
Good.
That's awful.
ETEP for like the first 3 years every show he would do was like, it's been 2 years, 26 days since George Floyd got sober.
Comics, I'm going to show this in the background.
Oh, is this? Oh my God. Well,
If you're okay showing that, we can, or else we do it on
Ron, we're still on YouTube. Probably not a
Yeah,
good idea.
we'll do that in a minute.
It's too small for even me to see.
Pinochet put that one out there. It's great.
Well, and the funny thing is, like the comments on Twitter about it, it's like, are they going to show up pointing a gun at a pregnant woman? I mean, yeah, because they're promising to basically what they're wanting to do is humanize them, which I get. That's fine. But at the same time, it's like the guy, he's not a hero. He doesn't deserve a biopic. He really doesn't. It's unfortunate what happened to the man. But in certain ways, because of the drugs, again, he put himself on a collision course for this to happen, which is unfortunate. And a bunch of other people have suffered as a result of this. And I'm not just talking about the police. I'm talking about the people in his community that had their shit burned down, that got wrecked by Antifa, all this garbage that has happened. But yeah, sure. Let's make the man a hero. Let's make him a martyr for the cause. Great job.
But we could also cover this on a Monday or a Thursday and say, hey, comedies are finally coming back.
Comedy of errors.
Well, it's just
the comedy that his life was anything but a piece of trash. I mean, the guy had been in jail how many times, he's been arrested how many times, and that's who they venerate. that's who they make a saint on the left.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and the
And the
other
things
thing,
that they
too-
will try to say about them, that's where it's going to be a comedy.
the thing too that nobody's talking about is the IT guy, and I swear to God, I need to bring this up like once a week because this to me is something very important. I think I'm forgetting his last name. I know his first name is Dexter. I have to go check Red State. The black man who is an IT professional who got sent up the river for exercising his Second Amendment right in basically
the guy building guns in New York.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
basically he was a hobbyist. He was he bought like the polymer 80s. Was making his own guns, which is perfectly legal in this country. And yeah, nobody fucking talks about that. Nobody talks about that miscarriage of justice. But you know, it is what it is.
The right does. The news doesn't.
Yeah. Well, very few people I've heard talk about it. The only person I've heard who's been championing this has been Jeff Ward from Red State. And kudos to him for doing it.
I think
Charles?
Bongino and a few other of them brought it
Yeah,
up.
Pick-
but,
Sorry,
Uh,
Jeff Charles.
Jeff Charles and
I get him and Ward confused for some reason.
And the guy's name is Dexter Taylor.
Dexter Taylor. Thank you. Yeah. That whole thing is a huge fucking mess.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, kudos to Jeff Charles for calling that shit out because
And the
it's
judge saying the Second Amendment does not belong
Not
in my
apply.
court.
that's awful. Absolutely awful. That judge should be thrown out. She should be immediately kicked out of her court, disbarred for that. I mean, it's the Constitution. It's the law of the land. And you can't say that the law of the land does not apply in your courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
But the left will say nobody's above the law.
Yeah.
While at the same time having a judge say, I'm above the Constitution.
And saying, the one that says the 2A doesn't apply in my courtroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'm not only above the law, I'm above the Constitution itself.
Yep. In funnier news, did you see that our president needs to hire apparently a memer in chief?
Nice.
Yeah.
Isn't that Harry Sasson?
Maybe.
Is
Biden
another-
campaign to hire a meme manager as president struggles for support from younger voters. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine an old white man in his 80s struggling to connect to today's youth. Yeah, go figure. Biden campaign is aiming to speak the language of the youth by hiring someone to manage its content and meme page as the president re-election campaign struggles to connect with Gen Z voters.
So we all know somebody had to have defected from the right if the memes are any good because the left can't meme.
Yeah.
Correct. Or they're just taking the money. I mean, I will on Beach or on comicsdivision.com, we will do anti-Trump t-shirts if it takes money from the left and puts it in our pockets.
I have no
100%.
problems with that. None whatsoever.
We've
After
been wanting
all,
to put Greta
after all,
Thunberg.
liberals buy
sexy
t-shirts
shirts.
too.
Yes, they do.
That's my attitude.
Yeah.
Just
And
remember
we should sell
that-
masks.
Just remember that a meme on the right can actually get you thrown in prison at this point.
That's true.
Yeah.
For what, 10 years? Was it 7 or 10 years?
10.
Yes.
But
It's fucking
that's all
ridiculous.
being appealed. And so they're just making it very
That
hard
doesn't
for you to get
screw
up to the
that
Supreme
guy's
Court.
life.
Right. Your life's over. And
Yeah.
Pinochet made that point last week, I think, or a week before, where you're not going to beat the government, right? They've got unlimited resources they can come after you with. So you just, do what, and hopefully that stuff plays out. But you're not going to beat the government. And we let the government, collectively as a people, we let the government take over. Instead of living our lives, being responsible for our lives, over the last 100 years, we've let the government take over, and we've taken our responsibilities and moved them off on the government. And this is the result. The government becomes an entity unto itself that will destroy its own people. We've seen that throughout history and in every single government on earth. So it's like Lily Tang and what she did to fucktard David Ang or whatever that Og, the guy that does the anti-gun stuff from Columbine or where was there? He was there, or no, the one in Sandy Hook, I think. I can't even listen to that dude anymore. And she got him to say, "Can you guarantee that the government will not come after me?" And he said no. She said, "Then congratulations, the gun control debate is over."
Yeah.
At that point. And they can't refute the facts. They can't refute why those things were there. They can just try and make people dumber or not care as much to get them to leave it alone and just let it go. Let's say that America was going to die in a whimper. It's not going to die in some big puff of smoke. So
Yeah.
Well,
the only good line from the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
What line is that?
This is how democracy dies, not with a roar, but with a whimper. Or was that
No, with thunderous applause.
Was that later?
with thunderous applause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
That was Phantom Menace, right?
It's basically
Yes. No, it was the
What-
last one.
I feel like we're seeing here too. It's like with anything. It's like when it comes to banning rights, of people, be it the First or Second Amendment in this country, there'll be people applauding it, and it's like you're applauding your own destruction at that point. I mean, these things are put in place as safeguards for a reason. There's a reason why, you're allowed to say things that the government doesn't like. And there's a reason why they can't come after you as a result of that. But
without the second, there is no first.
Yeah, and vice versa. I mean, without the first two amendments of the Constitution, there is no Constitution. That's the biggest thing that people need to understand.
The first one allows you to make an ass out of yourself because you need to have that kind of freedom to be able to do that and let us know who the asses are. And the second one protects everything else from there. So you are allowed to be a dick. Okay? And then when the dicks get out of hand, right? So it's kind of like the Team America World Police speech. Dicks can be hard, but sometimes you need dicks to fuck assholes. And, that stuff,
Yep. That's the reality. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I find it funny that they're wanting to get a memer to help out with the Biden campaign to reach the youth vote, and this is the problem when all your politicians are in their 80s, right? Is they're not going to connect with the younger demographics because they're out of touch. Doesn't mean they don't have wisdom. It doesn't mean that there isn't things that they can't teach the youth or we can benefit from. But yeah, as you get older, you get out of touch, and that's just the reality.
Well, what's funny is are they going to do that on the TikTok account that they created after he said he wanted to shut down TikTok?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, the only real way he's going to connect with Generation Z on his side is if he starts wearing a Palestine keffiyeh or whatever they're called.
Or the scarf, you mean, around their neck?
Yeah, the scarves. That if he comes out and does his speech,
shamag?
I can't remember what they're called. I thought they were called shamags.
I think they're called a shamag.
Okay. Well, if he comes out wearing one of those in his speech, then he's probably going to get most of Generation Z back.
I guess.
Because that's what they're pissed at him about. Yeah, a large portion of them in college.
Yep. Yeah. There's protests still going on at this point. Has basically the media,
but the news cycle stopped caring.
Okay. I was about to ask. just to do
Well,
stuff.
they're doing all the commencements. I mean, so they're basically all the school year's over. So there's
Yeah,
probably
it's
not a lot of people left there to be
well, they're
protesting.
they're going on worldwide too, and they're just doing it openly in the street and stuff in other parts of the world, driving people crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let's see. Oh, I shared this with Brandon. I had a pretty good laugh at this. I'm just gonna full screen it. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I have a question for the audience. Since when were paper towels never inclusive? I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah.
They're white. They can't be inclusive.
It
I
won't.
was making a joke on Brandon's show today. I was like, yeah, what they have is a 50-year-old white man guarding the paper towel aisle, and he hands them out to white people. But when a person of color shows up, he acts like a lineman blocking them from getting the paper towels. And if one of them manages to grab one, he slaps it out of their hand.
Are you ready for the really bad one that's going to get us in trouble? Typically, Bounty has only been able to clean up blood that doesn't have sickle cell anemia.
Oh God, that was bad.
I was going to say it wouldn't clean up the white messes, but
Yeah. Oh, Bronny's been supporting lesbians for years.
Yeah, that lumberjack on the front. Well, and there's plenty of toilet paper that's all in favor of the gays with those bears.
Oh my God.
God, wow.
I mean, the fact that they don't recognize it doesn't mean we don't, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
We can find coding in anything in advertising. That's what's wrong with us, according to everybody on that side.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't call it out.
Yeah. I it's one of those things I just look at. I'm like, why is this necessary? Oh well, whatever.
Because it's almost June.
I think it's losing steam. They've driven the economy so bad off now that all of their marketing stuff that they try and do doesn't work anymore. Right? So they can't sell any of this crap.
Nope. Target found out they're reducing prices on 5,000 items in the store.
Yeah, they're also not doing the Pride stuff this year either. Here's the one. Okay, so I was joking with Brandon. I wasn't joking. This is true. If you guys have been watching the show, you would know occasionally I'll bring this up, and I'll say that just Google XYZ is racist, and you will find an article that has been written about something is racist. I did this live on stream where I searched is candy racist, and we actually found something. So guys, did you hear romance is white supremacy?
Yep.
Black studies professor says.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, she looks delightful, right, guys? I mean, she just looks like the happiest person on the planet. Yeah, so romance promotes white supremacy, according to Black Studies professor who says she has endured bad relationships. Okay.
Her name is Sabrina Strings. It's a fucking stripper. Ladies and gentlemen, next up to the stage, Sabrina and her strings.
All joking aside, okay, so basically this lady is declaring romance white supremacy because she has endured bad relationships. Okay. University of California says everything right there. Santa Barbara professor Sabrina Strings addresses this topic in her new book, The End of Love, Racism, Sexism, and the Death of Romance. It kind of feels like your book is helping kill romance. If you ask me, but hey, whatever. What do I know?
I remember this one time 8 years ago when I was pregnant and some guy pointed a gun at my belly.
I am only one of millions of Gen X to Gen Zers women who have endured a seemingly endless array of miserable relationships with men. She pictured, writes in her new book, according to universities' news stories. Have you maybe thought about being a little bit more discerning? I guess I don't know. I mean, hey, as a dude, I also have endured a bunch of bad relationships too until I found my wife. I mean that.
How about try not being a bitch?
Yeah.
Part
Part
of
of
the
the
tried
reason
that
may
one?
be that the guys are being too discerning and not. They
Th-
take
I mean,
one
that-
look
that
at her and say, "That's a miserable shrew."
Well, I mean, I don't. I think they probably got to know her and they're probably like, yeah, peace out, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So she also wrote this book in 2019 called Fat Phobia. Fat Phobia is rooted in racism. I mean, this isn't new. We already knew this. Strings also co-founded Editors Race and Yoga Journal. What?
Huh?
Race and Yoga.
Oh my lord.
Anyway, romance has had a beginning, String said, as quoted in the Santa Barbara story. Romance is an old white cultural institution that began in the Middle Ages.
Okay.
Okay.
T.G. Burton's right. She wants the comics, dog.
So it wasn't romantic at all when David saw Bathsheba and then sent her husband to the front lines to die so that he could be with her.
Yeah. One of
That's
the very
right.
first
Don't go
examples
quoting no
of a
scripture on
romantic
me.
story is Lancelot and
That's
Guinevere.
not a good scripture.
She pointed out, which is about the trials of a man from a lower station who is set out to prove he is worthy of a higher class European Christian woman. I don't know why you had to get so descriptive with European Christian woman. I would say British, more poignant.
I don't know. King Henry VIII wasn't so great on romance.
No, he wasn't. According to Strings, romance is about women who are not peak white. What? Who are not peak white or are insufficiently white. What does that even mean? Our subject deserves to decent, manipulate, and assault and rape. What?
So she's looking back at all of history and saying, basically, Africa is just full of rape. We never had romance there. That didn't actually start. Love didn't actually start until the Middle Ages. I mean, what is she trying to say?
I have no idea. According to Strings, romance is about women who are not peak white or white or are insufficiently white. Okay, basically non-white women is the easy way of saying that are subjected to
Insufficiently white women? What
Yes.
the fuck does that mean?
I have no idea. Are subject to deservedly to deceit, manipulate, assault, and rape. What? That doesn't make any sense.
What?
Romance is white supremacist, she says. She appears to blame the civil rights era changes and backlashes against feminism for furthering the problem. I would blame that era and the destruction of the black family, but apparently that is probably racist.
None
to
of
bring
this
up,
makes
I guess.
sense. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
None of it
Offering
does.
a wide-spanning cultural critique, Strings covers questions from how colonization and slavery conspired to prevent black women from being considered viable long-term romantic partners to how change brought forward during the civil rights era resulted in black men distancing themselves from black and insufficient white women and aligning themselves with white men in order to pursue a rise in personal status. So she's blaming white men.
No.
and
She's
white
blaming
culture
black men for
for
wanting white
black
women.
men liking white women.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. From the rise and fall of the Black is Beautiful movement, I don't know when that happened, to how black music, including hip hop, abandoned its message about black beauty, which was a horse, and love once it took on more white, more male fan base. What the fuck? I don't get it.
Not one part of this says she actually studied or looked into the history of anything.
Zed says she's angry she can't date a white guy. I think she just can't get a date. That's my interpretation of this.
No, she's not trying to date a white guy. She's pissed off that all the black guys don't want the black chicks.
Yeah, she's an angry chick. I mean, and as you can tell on TikTok or whatever video has been posted lately, there's a bunch of angry Gen Zers that are they might be pretty, but their countenance and their attitudes make them ugly, and that's what turns men off.
Yeah. We give them air because they're funny to read.
Yes,
The
I
only
agree.
reason
They're
why.
hilarious. They're digging themselves further into a hole. Yes, I agree. It's hilarious.
It's like Robin DiAngelo. Holy shit! Everything she says makes me fucking laugh.
Oh my gosh, she's
Yeah.
been
Yeah. So she's angry that black men are dating white women. I don't think that's always the case, but whatever. Good friend of mine. He's white. He's married to a black woman. I think the idea of them saying that black women aren't viable is garbage. But okay, whatever.
They kind of got a point. I mean, we've seen that becoming more the norm. Black guys are going for white chicks more than they are going for black chicks. Black
It's
chicks have
definitely
been
in the
pissed off.
commercials.
They've been pissed off about this for decades.
Well, I think the other thing too is that you see a lot of the media pushing biracial relationships, and I mean, I'd say that's a factor too.
But it's never. It's almost never a white guy with a black woman. It's
No,
always
there's
a
no
black
white
with a
guy.
girl.
There's no white guy, period.
Yeah.
I've
White
seen
guys don't
one
appear in
commercial where there was a
commercials.
white guy with a light-skinned woman. I couldn't tell if she was African American or whatever.
Was it one of those commercials for the AIDS medicine that basically says, "Hey, if you're not
If you push back, you're gay." No.
no, if you're non-detectable, then you're good to go."
Well, my
Sure,
question
it was
is,
a soap commercial.
Yeah.
I think that is a question that you need to ask, lady. Why is it that black men are preferring white women over you? Just don't blame white supremacy. Ask a black dude why he's not willing to date you. You might not like the answer. I guess I don't know.
I mean, President Obama wouldn't even. I mean, he only dates black dudes.
God.
You deserve a rim shot for that one, Tox. Just
Okay.
throwing that out there. Thank you.
I mean, most men are dying to meet him.
You rim shot yourself again.
They're definitely proving that they can't swim.
Jesus Christ.
Still on YouTube.
Still on YouTube.
They don't give a shit about that channel. 25 people.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Tox.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
In other news, Klaus Schwab is dying. I'm sorry, he's resigning from as chairman of the WEF. There's not a lot of people I want to see fucking die, and he's definitely one of them.
Yep. Yeah,
But
you
I mean,
deserve
I literally, I do not say that about anybody except for Klaus Schwab.
But another little head will rise up.
She said little head.
Yeah,
I would say that it would probably be King Charles, but he's on his way out too. So,
Well, he helped co-found it. But
yeah.
I mean, the little head remark just reminds me of Klaus Schwab on the beach in that white lingerie kit that he uses as his swimsuit.
Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chair of the World Economic Forum, WEF, announced that he would be resigning from his executive role. Schwab revealed his decision in an email to staff on Tuesday, May 21st. Semaphore reported. Schwab, 86, will transition, dramatic pause, to the role of non-executive chairman, pending approval from the Swiss government.
What does the Swiss government have to do with it?
I honestly don't know. Klaus Schwab is retiring. Yeah, so sad. Breaks my heart. However, the globalist has yet to name a successor, King Charles, but has said over the last year that the group executive board, under the leadership of Prince, I don't even know how to say this, Borja Brinde, will take full executive responsibilities. Brinde is a former Norwegian conservative leader.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Yeah.
Schwab has been
and a chef.
synonymous with the WEF, pushing climate change initiatives, surveillance, and cashless society. Car bans, 15-minute city grids, and meat and dairy bans.
Sorry, I got that
Really?
name completely wrong. It was Borgy Brundy.
Borga.
Thank you. The WEF operates like a family enterprise with Schwab's children in key positions. Oh, I didn't even realize he had kids, but I guess that makes sense. They'll probably take over. And his wife,
They're all clones.
Hildy, overseeing the organization's foundation and award ceremonies. Over this year, Klaus Schwab predicted that the election would soon be a quaint relic of the past. Yes,
Yes.
elections
Her
being a
name
quaint-
is
AI
Hilde-
will predict it.
Yeah, pointing out the
Her name is Hilde Schwab.
Hilde Schwab.
Hilde Schwab, eh?
The little Q-tips.
Right.
Yeah, points to the elegance of is that supposed to be A2 as
Heil
a
Hilde.
AII.
AII as new democracy. During an appearance at Davos, the WEF founder said
AII?
nations will soon no longer need to hold elections because voting would be replaced by artificial intelligence.
Ooh.
This computer says that this person would be better. So
Yeah.
no need to cast a vote.
Yeah.
Or-
Schwab's sobering comments came during an interview with Google co-founder Sergey Brin, posted by X by Ezra Levant of Rebel Media. And there's the thing. Yeah, what's
Sergey is an asshole.
Oh,
We shall need no elections because the AI will tell us what to do.
Oh my gosh.
The missiles will launch when the
Where's
missiles
Ferk?
think they should.
Where's the Ferk?
Hilde has very blonde hair and blue eyes.
Rico Suave what?
have we mentioned lately that Klaus Schwab is a Nazi?
What say you, Borgy Brinde?
Yeah.
Heil
Klaus
Hilde.
Schwab was his family was legit in the Nazi party, by the way. Just
So
throwing
was
it out there.
Soros.
Yeah.
And so was the Norwegian after the war too.
I'm sorry.
Royal
Soros
family
wasn't.
there.
He was very, very much a Jew that basically just turned over everybody he knew to the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he actually ever joined the Nazi party.
No, he was not a member of the Nazi party, but he did.
He just turned over his whole race.
he
to
just
them.
sold out of the
anytime
pay.
he
And
could.
For the last 30 minutes, we're going to turn off things on YouTube and head over to the thing that shall not be named.
All right, you're running it there.
5, 4, 3, 2.